Hello, everybody, and welcome to
Oi Mista.
With me, Katie Blake.
And me, Louis B. York.
Hello, Louis.
Hello.
Hello. Sorry. Sorry, that got me off guard.
Well, just, we're going to bring the energy up,
No, you're right, and you bring the energy. Which is kind of crazy because I feel like in real life... No, you bring energy.
Look.
Wait, why am I shots fired? We're not...
I may not always bring positive energy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah. On
that
occasion...
felt very positive.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we're sorting stuff out.
We are sorting stuff out.
We are fixing our issues.
You guys, we've had so many sound issues.
Which you will have heard.
You will have heard. Because we finally got to a point where we're like, we just got to put something out.
Yeah, but this is our third time recording this episode.
Yes, so if any of this sounds like we're delusional and talking in circles, no, we won't be talking in circles.
The thing is that I don't really hold on to information of this sort. So I will be learning the same thing I've heard before for the first time in real, I won't know it.
I actually think that's so false because you are a walking encyclopedia. Anytime someone's like, oh, I wonder why that, Louis pops out. He's like, well, in the 1400s, there was a lady named Susan, and she...
Yeah, but you don't know Susan.
I don't know Susan, but apparently
Susan,
you do.
Yeah.
All right, shall we get into it?
Yes, let's,
So...
Well, actually, you have something to discuss.
I do.
A segment.
We have a segment.
Okay, nice.
We only have one segment, and every time we're like, it's segment time!
Well, we had another segment, but it had to be cut.
You're right, it did. External issues. Okay, so today I have a little something funny for us.
Nice.
So I'm going to say a phrase to you.
Okay, I'm ready.
And I want you to guess what it means.
Okay.
I'm pooped.
You're zonked, you're tired.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a thing here.
No. I wouldn't say so. It may be among the older generation.
Okay.
But it's not, I know what it means, I think, because of American relatives.
Well, it's usually a thing that you would say to, children.
Yeah.
If they're, running around, you're like, oh, you guys are going to be pooped.
Yeah. It's funny. It is.
Well, and I never thought about it in the context of, that it also has to do with excrement.
I don't know if there is, because, well, what I always think of with that is in Wind in the Willows, the book.
Oh.
Do you know that?
I feel like I should, but I don't.
Okay. Wind in the Willows is a book from, the Edwardian era, I think, because there are cars. And it's about Ratty and Molly, who live on the water, and they're they're animals, but they also they're humans. Anyway, and they have a neighbour who he's Toad of Toad Hall.
Oh yes, yeah. Okay, yes, and, Toad.
Yeah,
I know him.
Of Toad's Wild Ride, and he has a car, and he goes wheeling in the car, and he goes poop poop, and get out of the way, because that's sort of the sound of a
beep beep.
Yeah, but he says poop poop.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I also have just noticed that you guys, instead of a siren sound, you guys say Nino.
Nino.
That's.
Do you not have that?
Oh, what is that noise?
I love that. What is the sound of it? Nino. That's the sound of it. It might not be the sound of it in the US, to be fair.
But Nino? That's crazy. That's just crazy. I need other Americans to back me up. That's a wild sound. It sounds like Meemaw.
Well, it's not. It's Nino.
Nino. Good lord.
Love that. Well, what thinking of that as well, I was thinking about this recently, is that everyone had a good laugh when Trump was elected the first time in the UK, because that is a word for a fart.
Are you serious?
In the UK. Yeah. He did a Trump. And that's not from him. That's so it was like being called President Parp or President Fart.
Okay, but I just learned that word parp.
Yeah.
That also means a toot, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, well, President Toot, or any of those. It's it's funny. Okay. And I appreciate it's also the Trump card. And oh, he's that's winning, is also that's another.
Oh my god.
Sort of but also,
another meaning of the word.
The word. So that's like a positive version of top trumps, came up. Top trumps. So it's like you can have multiple, like it is sort of on one side it's like good business, but also on the other side it's like a farce. But also...
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. I'm a lady.
There was... What was the other one? Oh yeah, trumped up is like something's bigger than it actually claims to be.
Oh, well that...
Like trumped up charges.
That adds up.
Well, I'm not saying anything because I would like to be let back into the US at some point, so I'm completely neutral on the matter. But Trump,
that's not funny. He's
not. is not, or like the word Trump does not exclusively have positive connotations in the UK.
Okay.
Even before the president.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Shall we get into our episode?
Yes. Episode 4? Four, I think.
Oh, yes, that we were making. Yes. I thought you meant of this that we have filmed.
Oh, God, this is like episode 12.
Yeah, no, if you guys knew how many backlogged episodes that we had to throw away, it's actually so crazy.
You have no idea.
You haven't lived. So today we're talking about episode 4, Weird Holidays.
Weird Holidays.
Woohoo!
Which I still haven't come up with a better name for that. I feel like that's not a great like SEO
Probably
name,
not.
but there we are.
Yeah, okay.
Essentially... There are holidays, which in the US is the word for a single day, whereas holiday is also named for like when you go on vacation in the UK. But regardless, like we're talking about the single days or the festivals that exist that are unique to our two great nations.
Of course.
And some of these are national holidays, some of these are pretty much only celebrated like for school children or are more historic, but they've all got their sort of weird elements to it and sort of the relation to folk culture and the different sort of, I'm saying sort of a lot, but the different groups of people who have arrived on our shores over history.
And British people sometimes doing weird things.
I'm sure we will have forgotten some of them. And if you have any suggestions, please do. In fact, it might be, if we ignore some of them, it will be because we're recording an episode exclusively about that. For instance, Halloween.
Yeah, we're skipping Christmas, Halloween and Christmas.
Because they are, there's more to say.
Too juicy.
So juicy.
I hated that.
No, I didn't like that at all.
Don't ever say that word again.
I don't like that at all. What's that?
I don't know. I don't know you anymore.
Right, so, but we're going to go through chronologically.
Yes, so we're going to go through the calendar.
Yes, starting in January.
Okay.
And we're going to start with Burns Night, which is a Scottish tradition, but I've never been to Scotland and never celebrated it, so I possibly
On to me. Yeah, what do I know about Burns Night? Well, you probably know more of the history. It's about Robert Burns, who is the poet.
Yes, he's, I believe, the national poet of Scotland.
National poet. Was he also a philosopher?
Yeah, he was, yes. I would say so.
Yeah, a big name. His name is on, like, every building in Scotland.
Robert Rabbie Burns.
Rabbie, yep. Mm-hmm. God bless. And...
Most famous for writing...
Old Lang Syne, which I had no idea about. I thought that was, like, a German song.
Well, it's in Scots.
It is in Scots, which is a language of Scotland, which, again, Americans don't really know about.
Yes, it's not very widely spoken anymore. And it could be argued it's a dialect, but I don't want to get into that conversation because I fear that's actually like politically not acceptable. So.
No, I think I took a class in it, and
that's
really? I took when I was at University of Edinburgh. I took like a year-long course on like a history of Scotland, and I would say in my head it could be its own language, but it's closer to English than like Gaelic would be.
Yeah. That is true. Gaelic is not mutually intelligible.
No, where there's words in Scots, it's like almost shortened English. It's
a bit like Old English, I think.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, like if you read Beowulf, kind of like that type of vibe.
Yeah.
So Burns Night is actually quite fun. So I went to a Burns
January.
Night. What? 25th of January?
Yeah.
Ooh, God bless. I gotta stop saying that. Sorry.
Well, I like being blessed. It's nice.
Yeah. So... I went to a Burns Night when I was in Scotland. My friend brought me along. I went to the Catholic Society Burns Night, which was crazy. Kooky.
Very old alliance.
Old alliance. I don't know what that means.
Catholicism continued in Scotland longer than in Britain, because the Protestant Revolution sort of came over from Holland and Germany, but didn't make it all the way to Scotland.
Okay.
And it had... Scotland historically also has a long connection with France, because it's like the enemy of my enemy is my friend situation. And that relationship was called the Auld Alliance. In the same way as should old acquaintance be forgot from...
Old Lang Syne.
From Old Lang Syne. Old, yeah. AULD instead of OLD.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the party was fantastic. I think on Burns Night you do haggis.
Yes,
or is that...
It's probably haggis and neeps and tatties and other Scots.
I believe that's the one, because there's another one. There's St. Andrew's Day.
Yes,
which we we are going to get to that.
Well, I've got all of the Saints' Days.
Which we ate something else for that, but I think for Burns Night, like you do haggis, like that's the thing. And I tried it, and it was gross. I have had it other times though, and it was better.
Yeah, I would say that haggis is better. Like if you increase the proportion from like oats to gizzards. Like if
this was all
oats,
gizzards.
If it was more oat than gizzard, then it's probably going to be better.
There was like no oats. It was rubbery. Yeah. It was. I took a couple bites, and I had a reasonable amount of wine. So it, that's the only reason that it went into my mouth, I'm gonna be honest.
People use it as an example again of like, oh, British food isn't good, but this is a piece of cultural history. This is in general not like a standard meal of the week.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Scottish people eat this like regularly.
Oh, do they?
Yes.
To be fair, I've never been, so.
You've never been to Scotland?
No.
Oh yeah, no, like this is like a normal, like they eat haggis.
I did not know that.
Yeah, girl.
Okay, well, you know what? I stand corrected. Fair enough. Look, I've eaten it. It was fine. But I think that there does have to come a point where you say, you know what? Not all of it's going to be good. Not all of the cultural foods are going to be like Michelin stars.
Yeah, I've had it at a tea. Mm-hmm. Which was very lovely. It was like in a little puff pastry. Okay. A little haggis. Delicious.
Yeah.
But on its own, cooked by a student, was not.
I think it's lung.
It's kidneys.
Okay.
Lung. There's another organ, and then it's stomach.
Stomach.
Because then they put it inside the stomach.
Yes, they put it inside the stomach.
But I think this one was not inside. It was not encased in anything.
Oh, okay.
I guess I could just Google this right now, but I'm too lazy.
And there were oats in there as well, I think.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. And I'm sure at one point it was like to use all bits of the animal and like, you know,
nose to tail.
In olden times. Mm-hmm. So yeah, but it's very fun. There was lots of whiskey. There was a ceilidh, which is, you know, sort of like folk, it's like square dancing almost.
Yes, I think the way that we discussed it in the previous version of this
previous 2 times
was if you've ever seen a costume drama where people do the dancing in the Regency era, Jane Austen style.
You can see a ceilidh in
The Crown.
Yeah, they're at a ceilidh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very they have what looks similar to it in like Little Women too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was very fun. A nice evening. You usually read a long poem. And yeah, that's that. Next holiday, please.
Groundhog Day.
Say that again.
Groundhog Day. We did this bit and you did not understand.
I did not do it.
I just said the same thing over and over again. It's like, why are you saying it over and over again? It's like, Groundhog Day.
Yeah. Okay. Noah and I do remember that. We could probably play back the tape. I'm too lazy to edit that in. I'm gonna be honest. I got too much going on.
I think I'll do this episode if I can. I'll do it. Because you did the last one.
Right.
And then I did the one before that, and that one.
Yeah, we keep sort of going, And now you guys know our schedule.
Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day. So Groundhog Day is in February. It's on February 2nd.
Nice.
And it is a fabulous holiday in which we pull a groundhog from the ground, and we say, "Hey, what's your shadow look like, Guy?" And then
is he pulled? I thought he was able to emerge of his own volition.
I don't think groundhogs can really be trained.
No, it wasn't I thought it was just that, like, that's why they were waiting for him.
Oh, do they wait for him?
I don't know. But I didn't realise that they were literally like going into the ground and lifting him out.
Well, I think that he's their groundhog. So I think Puxatawny Phil, who's the groundhog, by the way, he lives in the local library, and we know this from our last episode.
Which is like, why is he in the library with the books?
And his wife.
And his wife, Mrs. Phil.
Mrs. Phil, yes, exactly. So
is Puxatawny his first name? Is his name Puxatawny, last name Phil?
Yeah, Puxatawny Phil. I think Mr. and Mrs. Phil.
So he's not Philip.
No,
he's not Philip from Puxatawny. No, he's Puxatawny Phil.
Yeah, but yeah. So basically, there's this place in Pennsylvania called.
Gobbler's Knob.
Gobbler's Knob.
How do I know this?
Sorry, you're right. Gobbler's Knob. In Pennsylvania. And
I'll do my... What? It has what name? That is such a surprise to me. I could never consider such a location name.
Yeah, because that's a bad word in England.
But it's a very British thing to have rude place names.
It is.
Yeah.
But you guys are... Oh, I guess, no, that means the same thing. Like cockfosters.
Yeah. All of that.
Yeah, that's still a bad word in this country.
There are so many of them. You can't move for...
Okay, well, I don't know why you guys called it that then. Anyway.
Well, it's probably a chicken.
I guess. I don't know. But yeah, we have a lot of fun in Gobbler's Knob on February 2nd. Because there's these men in top hats who are called the Inner Circle, and they wear tuxedos, and they hold Puxatawny Phil up, and then all these firework cannons go off, and they go, "It's Puxatawny Phil!" And then like cannons go off.
I think it was like WWE.
Yeah, it's literally like WWE. They have concerts, they have bands. There's a crowd at like 5 a.m. They're all like, "Woo, Puxatawny!"
I thought it was more like, in the olden days, we used to do all this, but no, it's like they've got monster trucks and
yeah.
In the left corner, we got Puxatawny Phil.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ding ding ding! Can you see his shadow?
Is he going to see his shadow?
All of the like graphics on the screen.
Yeah. It's crazy. I didn't really know about this until like my first year living in London. It like came up on TikTok, and I was like, God bless America. What is this craziness?
Well, Groundhog Day was pretty successful as a stage show here, as a musical.
Yeah.
For a while.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
From the movie. All right, what's the next holiday?
Our next holiday is the big game. It's
the big
Super Bowl.
game.
The
Super Bowl.
You got more in the first half of the year, possibly because it's less cold in the US, maybe. So people are more willing to do things.
Oh, interesting.
January, February.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm so glad my Travie made it to the big game. Do you know that?
Is that from SNL?
No, it's a made up AI song that went around about Taylor Swift. They were like, it's her unreleased track. So now I always think about Travie going to the big game. But yeah, I don't know anything about football, so I'm like the wrong person to ask about this. But usually you go to we would go to my aunt's house when I was a kid, or for game day. And you'd make chips and guac, maybe some tacos, maybe do you can even do a little barbecue.
Classic American Mexican food.
A classic American Mexican food. We have the best. I saw a stand-up bit. Yeah, Totino's Pizza Roll. Exactly. The funniest SNL skit you've ever seen. Yeah, I mean, that's really what it is. But the big takeaway... What?
Fumble!
Oh, right, because they can fumble the ball.
I guess.
We're not
I like the idea that actually it's not the ball, and they're holding a small china instrument, and they
it's fumbling.
Oh, it was like fumble.
Good. That's quite silly.
Yeah.
If there are any football fans watching this episode, they've clicked off.
American football.
Where
they don't put the foot with the ball.
Yes, right. But the other big thing about this day is that there's always a marathon of the Bring It On movies.
Yes, which we've discussed before.
This is our Groundhog Day.
Yes, honestly. Jesus.
Yeah.
Love the Bring It On movies. Hadn't heard of them before. Still haven't seen them. But it's like Step Up, is it?
Better than Step Up.
Step Up to the Streets?
No, Bring It On, fight to the finish. Bring It On, in it to win it. Bring It On.
If it's not Vanessa Hudgens' Sneaker Night, I'm not listening.
Put my sneakers on.
So basically what we're going to do is just dance.
I needed to be known that I briefly met Vanessa Hudgens when I was in high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was your High School Musical.
It was. She was very tiny.
Did you give her a necklace and it had a T on it? Just like T as in Troy?
No. Poor
Did she say, well, some people are just going to die, that's sad, but that's just what's going to happen?
No, she was actually going to Whole Foods to get a salad.
Wow.
Yeah, because we saw a matinee of her in Gigi, a musical.
Okay.
And one of our friends was friends with, it was a high school thing, but yeah, she had another show in the evening, so she had to go get a salad from Whole Foods.
I can't believe they're not bringing salads to Vanessa.
Yeah, she went to go get it, apparently.
Down to earth queen.
Oh my God. So down to earth.
So down to earth.
Yes. All right, that's it for, that's all I got.
On to the 4th of March, which is a combination of things, but I'll go first because you've been doing a lot of these, is Shrove Tuesday, Pancake Day, Fat Tuesday, and Mardi Gras.
Yes.
Changes every year because it's to do with the moon and Easter and stuff. So 4th of March was 2025. I, in fact, was born on Pancake Day. So, true fact about me. But in the UK, it is well known because it is the day when everyone eats pancakes. And especially at school, but also in general, they will do sales on pancake mix. And everyone just it's just a thing that happens. A work cafeteria would probably do pancakes on Pancake Day in the UK. And UK pancakes are not like American pancakes. They are sort of like crepes, but they aren't as crispy. They are very thin.
Okay. And
you fold them over into quarters, into a quarter of its size. Fold it twice.
Okay.
It's round. And then you have it with sugar and lemon juice.
Okay.
Yes, that is a classic English pancake.
Lemon juice, that sounds very nice.
It's very nice, I would say. I would say so. Because we don't have maple syrup here. So, you can get it, but it's not a native thing. So, very popular. Love Pancake Day. And the logic of it is that it's the last day before the beginning of Lent when you give everything up. Mm-hmm. And it contains all of the things you're not supposed to have. Butter and eggs and sugar and everything else. So, it's using everything up before you go into your Lenten period. But in the US and around the world, it is also known as Mardi Gras.
It sure is.
Which is obviously the... is that Italian or French for...
It's French, I believe.
For Fat Tuesday.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so in America, Mardi Gras is sort of a mixture of a lot of culture that takes place in New Orleans. So there was a lot of Creole, there was French and American influences that all kind of blended together and created this very interesting and unique culture that takes place in New Orleans. And they have these huge parade floats and giant puppets, and that's where you sort of get the idea of throwing beads.
Bees?
Beads.
Bees? Job's not on board.
I don't even know what you're referencing.
That's Arrested Development.
Okay. You did hear me say beads.
Yes,
though.
yes.
Okay. I'm no, don't make me say it again. Yeah, so take your top off, get some beads. That's pretty much what happens in New Orleans.
What are the beads made out of?
I'm sure they're nicer in New Orleans. We would get ones at school and it was like plastic. You're not chic.
Not chic. Single use. Not on.
Single use. Oh, you're right. He's literally saving our planet.
Ladies
and gentlemen.
I am.
Louis Bjork is an
bead
environmental
at a time.
king.
I do my recycling.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah. You have a little garden outside.
Well,
yeah. But at school for Mardi Gras, you have this thing called the king cake.
Oh, yes.
So it's almost like a croissant and a bread.
It's like a panettone
together.
Sort of.
I've never had
brioche.
a panettone. Not really. It's like a little lighter than that.
Well, panettone is lighter than
okay. I don't know what I'm talking about. But it has like this thick like icing on it, and then usually like sprinkles in the colors of Mardi Gras, which are green, gold, and purple.
What we discussed is that I enjoy the fact that holidays have their own set color schemes.
Yeah.
Who organised that? I'm very impressed.
Yeah. It's a good thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's a little baby that's hidden inside. There's like a little baby Jesus. Huh. And you hide him in a piece of cake, and whoever gets the baby Jesus wins.
What's the baby made out of?
Plastic.
Microplastics. That's been cooked in a cake.
Jesus Christ.
But also, like, what was it made of? Was it metal before? And
you'd chip a tooth.
How can you tell he's Jesus?
Well, they just tell you that it's Jesus.
Okay. So he just looks like a little, like, baby.
Well, because he's the king.
Does he have a crown?
I don't think so, but you get a crown.
Okay.
If you win the baby.
No, well, there are quite a few things in Britain which probably don't happen anymore, but it used to be that your Christmas pudding, your plum figgy pudding situation would have a coin inside. Okay. And whoever found a coin in their meal was like, oh, you win. You get venerated for some time.
Okay.
So it's not dissimilar from that. But is this where the tiny plastic babies come from, I guess? Because you see those online all the time.
What?
You know,
people buy them and hide them around people's houses?
They buy like a massive tub of plastic babies.
Probably.
Is that the same type of plastic baby? Is my
Probably,
question.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'd assume so.
So it's like for people doing like bulk making king cakes. It's like, we can't get the babies. Everyone's using them for pranks.
Yeah, that's so crazy. What is America?
Great question.
Can you buy those in the UK?
Probably online. They don't sell like bulk tiny plastic babies at the supermarket.
Bulk tiny plastic babies. I'm Googling it. It's sending me to Temu.
Yeah, that would make sense.
No, they don't have the same ones. Oh yeah. Wait. I found them. These ones.
Is that what's in the king cake?
Yeah.
Oh my god. That's crazy.
Yeah, little babies.
Why are those? Why does that exist?
They're so creepy.
That's upsetting.
Yeah, anyway.
That's upsetting.
Okay, next holiday. Next.
May 1st is May Day, which is an international, that was the big celebration in the USSR for socialism. But it is an ancient folk tradition that marks the beginning of spring, and it's where you have the maypole, which people may have seen in Midsommar, and you have Queen of the May, which is a bit like it's sort of the origin of a pageant, beauty competition, where you have the local village competition. But it's not about beauty really, but like somebody becomes Queen of the May and they get paraded around with all the flowers and everything.
No spray tan?
No. Well, maybe nowadays.
Really?
Maybe in some parts of the country. I'm making a joke. But it's very much a village thing, and you will see a maypole put up in that time of year, which is nice. And I guess it's my argument that we do in Britain, but also in the rest of Europe, have a native culture, and that has not completely been erased, but it does need to be supported in collaboration with everything else, and it can be a welcoming, an open thing, that people can get involved with. It doesn't need to be scary and shut off. Mm-hmm. And it does exist, and I think that also recognising that people say, oh, they don't have any culture. Well, then what that means is you don't realise that the culture that is the default is actually coming from that same space, and it means that you're blind possibly to the assumptions that come with that. But I think it's just nice. You might have Morris dances.
What is it?
Morris dances.
Morris,
which is a type of traditional folk dancing, which is from England specifically, I believe. And I think women do it now, but it used to only be men, I think. And you dress up in like a white outfit with ribbons and bells tied to you, and you wear a hat, or a straw hat, and you dance and you hit sticks with other men. when you go, and it like there's a rhythm to it, and you clink your feet together with the bells as well.
Okay, is it like clogs?
No, I think people wear like normal shoes, but they have to attach the bells.
Okay.
Lots of bells and ribbons and stuff.
Right.
It's quite something. Again, I support its right to exist.
Okay. Tea.
And then we, just as a group thing, we have St. George's Day on the 28th of April, St. David's Day on the 1st of March, St. Andrew's Day on the 30th of November, and St. Patrick's Day on the 17th of March. So individually, they are the patron saints of England, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland.
Oh.
In that order: George, David, Andrew, and Patrick.
Yeah.
And you can read about the history of those saints. St. George is obviously famous for fighting the dragon.
Yes.
St. Patrick actually was in Ireland, as opposed to St. George, who was actually from Turkey. St. David and St. Andrew... Well, St. Andrew's, the Salter Cross is famous. It's the X cross.
Right.
Is the St. Andrew's cross on the flag.
Right.
Of Scotland.
And that's because he was crucified.
I think so.
In that
position, yes.
Yikes.
Which is a lot. But what I would say on that is really that each of those will be celebrated. I know St. David's Day is very popular, and you have Welsh food, and you dress up in Welsh outfits and things like that in Wales. And the daffodil is the big symbol. Oh, daffodils and leeks are Welsh symbols.
Sure.
Yeah. St. George's Day, the St. George's Cross is a little bit of a tricky subject, but again, not sort of nice primary school things where people learn about the history of that sort of stuff. Very much in Church of England primary schools, which are very common.
Okay.
I would imagine also in Catholic primary schools, but...
Why is there controversy with the cross?
The St. George's Cross, which is the symbol of England as opposed to Britain, has been co-opted by the far right.
Ah.
Yes.
Okay.
It is also very much a popular symbol in football, because England is a football team as opposed to... It represents itself internationally as a football team by itself, as opposed to Great Britain.
Mm-hmm.
And football has a relationship with the far right to a certain extent, although I wouldn't want to, obviously it's not direct, but there's one side of it. And also that football has been a site of both racism and violence. Yeah. And it is the symbol of England, and England is represented, so they're all wearing England flags at the time.
Right, yeah.
So the whole thing, if somebody has an England flag out showing on the outside of their house, and it's not during a football season, it is something where you're like, oh.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
But sometimes people are naively don't think that that's an issue, and also England, hopefully that symbol can represent a diverse modern country moving into the future, but that would be nice.
Yeah. Nervous laugh.
Yes, so next we got 4th of July.
Oh, hey. Yeah, my roommate wants to throw a 4th of July this year. So I'll let you know if that ends up happening.
Okay.
But, I was talking to her about this because, we don't really celebrate the 4th of July. Some people do, and it's really big. I'm from D.C.,
You're too fancy for...
That's not what I said. That's not what I said.
No, but it's what you meant.
Not... People are gonna...
We're, part of the coastal elite. We just can't... Fire... It's all a bit gauche. Oh, my goodness. You're like, a barbecue? Oh, no.
No. It's just what the real... I'll tell you what the real tea is that my parents are tired. And so every year it would kind of be like, oh, should we go see the fireworks? I remember one year, I think we were going to go, see the fireworks in our neighborhood. We were having movie night. And then it was 10 o'clock and we were kind of we're all tired. Let's go to bed. So we're kind of lame.
It was like this with New Year's. My mum was like, I don't want to stay up. And I was like, it's not even that late. Yeah. I'm not asking you to stay up until 3 a.m.
Yeah.
You can go to sleep 10 minutes, at 12:10.
Well, and the thing with DC, if we go other places, we will celebrate it. But celebrating the 4th of July in DC is a nightmare. You'd think, oh, it's so easy. You can just go to the mall and see, the huge fireworks show. That's, the national one. And it's it's not that easy. There's traffic. It's 100 degrees. It's so hot.
I would imagine that couldn't you just sit in your backyard and watch people's fireworks that other people are letting off in the
No, that's not how it works. No. So, like, that's illegal.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Well, fireworks are much more available in this country than in the US.
And for a good reason, because I think that a lot of houses would be burned down.
Well, with the wooden houses, and it's not as rainy there, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. No, because they have to be done by, like, usually it's like a pool or a country club that does them locally. So we would kind of, like, go to, like, a local park where you could see them through the trees.
Yeah, we have a similar situation with our fireworks nights.
Yeah. But the big one. So if we ever did do something for 4th of July is usually when we were, like, in Maine for the summer. We usually would just, like, kind of go...
Well, maybe when we summer in Maine, you know... Well, you know, then maybe we would have something small, but it's just... Oh! It's like...
Well, no, it's like you know, it's casual. Like, usually it was just, like, by the water, and it was, like, everyone comes in their car, and there's, like, a boat off.
Martha Stewart's there, you know...
No. You're making me sound, like, so ridiculously fancy. No, it was... We had fun.
Somewhere in the Hamptons. How fabulous is that?
Oh, Jeffrey. We're making this fabulous dessert.
It's Friday, so we're having chicken.
I did my Ina Garten impression the other day for someone, and they did not understand who it was.
She's not that famous in the UK.
No, she's not. I just thought, because, like, you get a lot of my references.
Yes. But that's because I work hard.
That's because you're you, and you're a crazy person.
No, she's not. I would say possibly Pioneer Woman is more famous than Ina Garten in the UK.
Who is Pioneer Woman?
Ree? I can't remember her name. She does another show on the Food Network.
The one who does, who's cancelled?
No, that's
Butterball.
No, this is another lady. No, Pioneer Woman. She is like, I was this big city girl, and then I went to my husband is a farmer, and I cook food.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she seems like a nice lady.
Sure, okay.
You know,
never heard of her.
4th of July obviously is celebrating independence
from you.
A brief interlude in the. We'll be back soon enough.
Yeah,
you'll be back. No.
You guys don't care about the Revolutionary War.
No, it's not taught here. We only teach the wins. And functionally, it's like, okay, well, we're leaving these colonies with English people in charge, because at that point they were still English most of the time. And also, it's not one of our more profitable locations. Mm-hmm. We've just discovered Australia, so that will be our new penal colony. We're able to extract a lot more resources out of India and South Africa, is the honest truth. You know, and look, it's evil, but they're all evil. Like, you know, so. Mm-hmm.
Colonization.
We made the best of the situation. You notice that, like, the peak of the British Empire was still another, like, 140 years later. So they did okay through the 19th century.
They were all right. It's fine.
Yeah.
America was slowly chilling and not chilling.
Yeah.
And conquering and going on caravans.
My favourite is the War of 1812.
Yeah.
Where they burnt down the
White House.
Love that.
Why is that your favorite?
That's so funny.
That's not funny.
It was very funny.
I think people died.
I'm not sure that they did.
Oh.
I'm sure that people died in the War of 1812. But my understanding is that, like, they escaped beforehand.
Maybe.
And, like, the First Lady was removing all the paintings and everything.
Yeah, because I think that was Thomas Jefferson, because we were in his other house, because you can go visit it.
Okay.
And that's Monticello.
No. Well, you know, the Jeffersons sold it to us. And,
I know. It's summer up in Monticello. Oh. See, when we're trying to be fancy, we do British accents.
No, but there's the Hamptons and the...
I've never been to the Hamptons.
Fancy people. I've been to Southampton.
Is that cool?
No.
Oh, okay.
We have Southampton, Northampton. We probably have Easthampton and Westhampton. But they're not near each other.
Oh.
And we have Hampton, of course.
Which is also not near the other Hamptons?
No.
That makes no sense.
Because it is the Hampton that is south. as opposed to the south bit of Hampton.
Okay.
And like Hampton means town. Because ham means town.
Right.
And tun means town.
Okay, so you guys just really went ham.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was really bad. Don't look at me like that.
Well, what we've discussed previously is that the UK is one of the very few countries in the world that does not have a day celebrating itself.
Right.
Because we don't need it. No.
No, yeah.
Most of the time these sorts of days are Independence Days. The UK has not gained independence because we were the people that you were gaining independence from in general a lot of the time. We don't have like an Australia Day equivalent, although we do have St George's Day, which I was considering. But that is not for Britain, that is for England. So it doesn't really... The nations and regions have their own celebratory days, as opposed to like having one for the whole area.
The whole thing.
And I think that's okay. I don't think we need one. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
So moving on to skipping over from July to October. Whoa. On the 5th of October, we have Harvest Festival.
Right.
We plough the fields and scatter the good seed on the land, for it is fed and watered by God's almighty hand.
So what do you do on Harvest Day?
So Harvest Festival, it's a bit of a like period, as opposed. I'm sure it is one day, and it's part of the ecclesiastical calendar.
Okay.
So it's very much a church thing, but also a primary school thing. And so obviously harvest is when all of the stuff comes in at the end of the like autumn, summer, where the wheat is being harvested, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And then you have the cornucopia and the idea of plenty and all of these things, but also it's an opportunity where a lot of people give food to charity. And there are food drives and tins and things are given.
Very nice.
So it's sort of a nice thing, but lots of wheat sheafs, etc. Actually, not dissimilar from the imagery of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But it's slightly earlier, and it is maybe that is related to the difference in the farming calendar in the UK versus the US. Maybe the food comes in slightly later. I don't know. But 5th of October. We then, a month later, have Remember the 5th of November.
Right? I forgot about this one. How could I?
Gunpowder Treason and Plot.
Right.
I see no reason why gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. Guy Fawkes Night, Bonfire Night, Fireworks Night are all different names for this same thing. It comes from 1606. 1606 is the Gunpowder Plot, which is when James the First of England and 6th of Scotland was king. He was actually Catholic. Mm-hmm. This is the annoying twist of it. But he wasn't Catholic enough for some of the Catholics who were living in Britain at the time. Okay. So they planned to kill him and the rest of Parliament on the opening of Parliament, where the King comes in and does the King's speech. Mm-hmm. Speech in Parliament. By going underneath Parliament and leaving a load of barrels of gunpowder and then exploding them when everyone was there. Mm-hmm. And it had 14 conspirators, including this man called Guy Fawkes, who was in charge of doing the detonation. But one of his co-conspirators, whose name escapes me, I believe I remembered it in the previous version of this episode, he told his brother-in-law, by the way, don't go into Parliament then, no reason, And his brother-in-law was like, right, something's going on. So they had a big search, and they found in the basement underneath Parliament Guy Fawkes there being like, hi, with all of these barrels of gunpowder. They're like, right, okay. So there was a big celebration that they had defeated Guy Fawkes and these Catholic conspirators, and in fact you will find references to it in Shakespeare plays. Oh. Because he in Macbeth they're talking about it.
Really?
There is a line where they say, look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it, which is a biblical reference, but is also a reference to a commemorative coin that was put out celebrating the foiling of the Gunpowder Plot, which had a little flower with a snake underneath, which is showing, they were being duplicitous and,
Interesting.
So it's sort of bringing a relationship between Macbeth, who kills the king, and then Banquo, who eventually his son becomes king, I think. And Banquo, they were saying that Banquo was related to James.
Okay.
Because it's about the kings of Scotland.
Right.
Anyway. So, big celebration then, and part of this is having bonfires and putting on fireworks. And on the bonfire you have a guy, which is an effigy, a life-size effigy of Guy Fawkes, a bit like a scarecrow, where you fill clothes with hay and stuff, and you have a hat. And Guy Fawkes is a very famous image because it is the image of the man with the pilgrim hat and the big mustache that was featured in V for Vendetta, but also is also the symbol of Anonymous, the hacker group, which took it from V for Vendetta. Some people see Guy Fawkes as like a folk hero, that he was bringing it to the man. I mean, he was a terrorist on the side of like the Catholics, which is like, are they really the good guys? But okay, sure, fine.
Who knows?
I guess you could argue that the whole thing was neutral because they were all historically evil. Well, you know, if you want to do that, but
don't blow people up.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
No bombs. No, I say no to bombs.
Yeah.
Yes. So that is also the origin of the term guy, as in, who's this guy?
Hey, guy.
Is from Guy Guido Fawkes.
Crazy.
Who was this historical figure. And yes, big bonfires, fireworks, and it's I enjoy it. It's fun. Next up is Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, which I thought that this would not be included, but Louis was like, that's a weird holiday.
It is a holiday.
What are you talking about?
It's celebrating... very much an American thing. I know they have it in Canada, but it's a different thing.
It's fake in Canada.
Yeah. That. So it is unique to the US.
Yeah.
B, it is very odd.
Yeah.
The turkey, pardoning the turkey,
yes.
The weird meal, all of the different elements of it, like the fact that you've got, it's all based around sale dates, it seems.
No. The sale dates are based around Thanksgiving. No, because you guys, this is true, you guys adopted Black Friday.
We have Black Friday, but we don't have Thanksgiving.
You don't have Thanksgiving. It's like, Thanksgiving has always been the fourth Thursday of November.
Okay.
So then it just happened to be that now they've added sales.
Well, it's not as if the traditions are particularly old, because most of the recipes come from like the backs of packets of Betty Crocker. Like, a lot of the recipes that are traditional actually like taken from that were developed in the 50s.
Maybe. Okay. Well, I mean, interesting. I would say maybe, I don't know when it really took shape. That's honestly quite an interesting thing that we have not researched, but Thanksgiving, it is a very traditional, like it's a big deal. Mm-hmm. It's lot
bigger than Christmas, you can argue.
I wouldn't say it's bigger than Christmas, but I would say it's like as big.
Yeah.
In getting home. I haven't been home for Thanksgiving. I probably won't go home this year just because it's in such an awkward time and it's so close to Christmas.
And also that you don't get time off here for it, so it's like it's not as if there would be an expectation that you for work and stuff.
Yeah, no, companies let you take the day. Like it's a national holiday, so everyone, either tries to fly back home or drive back home, whatever. And
a bit like Chinese New Year in that sense.
Sure, yeah. I don't know that much about it, to be honest with you.
Well, I know that in China and in East Asia, it is traditional that you go back home for Chinese New Year.
Yeah, Thanksgiving is really like a big family holiday. So it's all about, like, we call it shopping day the day before. So, like, you go over to your grandmother's house and, like, you chop up everything. And there's family recipes. Like, each family has their own sort of thing that they do. And, yeah.
But you don't tend to do any of the tacky bits, like, oh, well, we would never do candied yams. So like, oh, no.
No, we didn't. What? Hey.
Green bean casserole, so Midwestern. Oh,
no. Okay. Well, fine. You introduced me to green bean casserole. I thought I was proven wrong. I thought that was just a Midwestern thing. Apparently, it's not.
No, I didn't think it was.
No, because I asked my friend from high school, and she was like, "Oh no, we make that every year." So I don't know. We do candied yams. I think my aunt
with the marshmallows on top.
Yeah.
I mean, that in itself is the devil's work.
Or no, maybe we don't. No, we don't do that. No, we do yams with a little bit of, like, we do sweet potatoes. I think my aunt maybe used to make them.
I thought yams and sweet potatoes were the same thing.
Right. Are they?
I don't know.
I don't know either. No, but I mean, because we have Stofers on the kitchen table. Or the dining room table. You know, little Stofers, mac and cheese, pop it in the oven. So good.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't get it, but all my American people will understand.
Let's hope so.
You guys don't have anything that compares to it here. It's amazing. Canned cranberry sauce. You guys, the thing I love about the cranberry sauce is like when it comes out of the can and it's just like can shaped. And you guys don't have that here. I have to buy it like in a jar. It's like fancier.
There are American, I know there are the tax avoidance places, but there are also actual American grocers in the UK.
Really?
Yeah.
I gotta find one of those because I don't. Every year I get the cranberry sauce from Sainsbury's and it has little bits in it. I don't want the bits.
I think Partridge's would probably do it.
Partridge? I never even heard of that.
Yeah, it's a very fancy grocers.
Oh, yeah. I just get it for you guys, so I feel like. I guess it is a special occasion. I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving again this year.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Especially, hopefully, we'll have a new flat with a real table.
Yes. That's very exciting.
Yeah, but that's Thanksgiving. I mean, it's a really big deal in my family, at least. We all come together. I think the last one that I was at, there were 16 of us.
Gosh.
Yeah. Well, and then it sort of becomes politics of like, oh, so-and-so brought so-and-so to Thanksgiving. Oh. All the things.
Oh my goodness. They brought, they wouldn't let them in the country club. Oh no.
We're not like that. What is this like? You're painting us as like the Kennedys.
More like the Bouviers.
Who?
The Bouviers.
Who are they?
Jacqueline Bouvier.
I don't know who that is.
Jackie O.
Oh. Jackie O. Okay.
Yeah, well, she was Jackie O Nass's second husband.
Oh.
But her maiden name is Bouvier.
Oh, interesting. I mean, I feel like my mom would be very flattered that you think of us this way, but...
Well, it's just because quite often I will mention something that is American and expect you to be like, oh, yes, and you'll be like, oh, no, we don't do that.
That's because I'm from D.C. That's from the East Coast.
Yeah.
Because there's that people... sorry, I'm cursing. There's that people do on, like, the West and the Midwest where it's like... What the heck? And we get associated with it over here. And it's annoying.
Think that for the purposes of this podcast, it is more enjoyable if you are willing to defend your fellow country people.
But I'm not. I'm from the East Coast.
Because I'm willing to defend the various insane things that my country does, like to a certain extent.
There are certain things I will like. I will not condone the weird salads that happen in the Midwest.
I think you just have to I tried to defend haggis. And I feel like you should have to defend...
Yeah, but that's not so different. No, because if I came on here and I was like, I love weird Jell-O salads with mayonnaise in them and, like, Fritos, like Frito pie. If I came in here and I was like, I love Frito pie, that's confusing to our audience because I'm from D.C.
Well, I think what you could say is, I don't get it, but I respect that. You can have a little bit more sympathy.
I don't respect it.
Well, I just think that is, I just think that it's not really playing the game.
No, because I think that if you talk to other Americans, they would agree with me. They'd be like, I also do not respect Frito pie.
You thought that nobody had green bean casserole, but they did.
No, and you know what? I've had it now, and it's delicious.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, but that may be because I made it.
It could be. I don't know. Yeah. He makes an excellent green bean casserole, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
I have to say, it hasn't gone into my regular rotation through the year. I'm not eating green bean casserole in July.
Yeah, like nobody makes stuffing like another, which I think I make a nice stuffing.
Well, we have stuffing in the UK in a Sunday roast, but it's very different to American stuffing.
Yeah, ours is like bread and celery and like chicken juice.
Ours is like pork mince and breadcrumbs and like sage and what's the chestnut.
Yeah. I think I've had it, but it's called like bread sauce in a Sunday roast.
Bread sauce is
that different?
Is very different. Bread sauce is like a sauce made of bread, whereas this is stuffing. It's in like it's stuffing.
Okay, I was not a huge fan of the bread sauce.
Bread sauce is a bit medieval.
It is
because it's got cloves in it.
Yeah.
It's sort of what I do at Christmas, which
like
is the only
baby
time
food.
we ever have have it is I, instead of doing creamed leeks and bread sauce, I do leeks in a bread sauce.
Okay.
So it's like you've got
mixture.
Both in one.
Lovely.
Which works quite well. Well, I think that brings us to Thanksgiving. We will do Christmas in its own episode, so that sort of brings us to the end of the holiday year.
Completely.
Yes, I mean, what a time. I don't know if you've got anything else to add.
No, I think that was it for our Weird Holidays episode. And hopefully this is the last time that we have to film this godforsaken episode.
Well, thank you very much for listening.
Yes, thank you very much.
I'll get up my... what I have to say.
Yeah, read your thing.
Have you... This episode of Oi Mista featured Katie Blake and Louis B. York. If you have any questions you would like answered in a subsequent episode or would like to send us a message, please contact us at oimistapod@outlook.com. That's oimistapod@outlook.com. Episodes release every other Sunday, hopefully. Thank you.